Hello everyone. In this video we'll be learning about how to solve equations by using multiplication and division equations. How are we going to solve equations that have multiplication and division operations? Now, this is going to be a third lesson for this chapter. So as we did lesson 2, the rules are going to be the same for solving equations of multiplication and division. But before we start, I just wanted you to revise and remember what are the rules you follow when we multiply and divide integers, because this is the same thing we are going to be doing in the lesson. So a quick review of the rules of multiplying and dividing integers. When the signs are different, the answer is always negative. So when you are multiplying or dividing two numbers that have two different signs, for example, this is -4 and this +5. So if both of them have two different number signs, that means the answer you will get is going to be a -1 as well. No matter which number has a negative or a positive, but if the signs are different and you're multiplying or dividing, the answer finally you're going to get is going to be a negative number. You have to be very clear on these points, because these are very important rules we are going to use throughout the whole algebra lesson. Okay, so here we have -21 divided by 7 is going to always give us a negative answer because it has a negative sign. So if the signs are different, whether you multiply or divide, your answer will have negative numbers. Then when the signs are same, for example, both of them have negatives or both of them have positives, the answer will always be positive. Whether you are dividing or multiplying two negative numbers, or you are multiplying or dividing two positive numbers, your answer will always be in positive form. Okay, so the first rule, if any of the number is negative, the answer will be negative. If both the numbers are negative or positive, the answer will be positive always. Okay, now keeping this in mind, let's see what are the rules we're going to use to solve equations of addition, multiplication and division. Okay, as always, we are going to use always the inverse operations whenever we solve equations. Okay, so the inverse of multiplication is division. Inverse means the opposite. And the opposite of division is, of course, multiplication. So keeping this also in mind, so you need to keep three things in mind: the two algebraic rules and the inverse operation rule. Okay, let's see how can we solve this equation. So we have to solve as well as we're going to check. So this equation says -4 equals k divided by 5. Okay, -4 equals k divided by 5. Now we have to find the value of k, which means we have to keep k alone. So to keep k alone, we are going to do the opposite of what's being done here. So k divided by 5. So what's the opposite of divide? You can repeat this question, or you can read the question for yourself. K divided by 5. So the opposite of divide is multiply. So we are going to multiply -4 with 5. So -4 multiplied by 5. So you have to do the inverse. K equals -4 multiplied by 5. That's going to give you a -20. Again, the algebraic rule. You would multiply any number. If the signs are different, or you multiply a negative number with a positive number, your answer should be a negative number. Okay, now let's check whether the answer we got, k is equal to -20, is correct or not. Write the equation, okay, and then replace the k with the answer we got. So for k, we got it as a -20. So is -20 divided by 5 going to give us -4? We are dividing a negative number with a positive one. So you have to remember, our answer is going to be a negative or a positive number. It's going to be a negative because one of them is negative. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. Because it was -20, so our answer is going to be -4 as well. So which means k is equal to -20 is the correct answer. Let's solve one more. Okay, now this question has something different. Now read the question first. What does this mean? 2/3 multiplied by s. As you know, if a number and a variable are together, means they are multiplied. So 2 over 3 multiplied by s gives you negative 6. So what is the question you need to ask? To solve this, you're going to do the inverse. What's the opposite of inverse? Divide. So we are going to divide. Okay. So s is going to be equal to negative 6 divided by 2 over 3. Why did we divide? Because it was 2 over 3 multiplied by s. So to get the answer, we do the opposite. We divide. Okay. Now we are going to divide a fraction. Now, you cannot just divide fractions. Dividing fractions is not as easy as it is. You cannot just do negative 6 divided by 2 will give you negative 3. No, you cannot do that. We have to follow something else. We follow a rule called KCF. Okay, what is this KCF? K stands for keep, C stands for change, and F stands for flip. You know, flip means the other side. Turn to the other side. Okay. Now, why am I telling you we are going to use this? Whenever you have to divide a fraction, you must follow KCF. How are we going to follow KCF? Let's see. Keep S the same. Now we need to change this to a fraction. Now if there is no fractional number and if you want to change it to a fraction, just write 1 as the denominator. Okay, because this is a whole number. Negative 6 is a whole number, so you want to change it to a fraction, just write 1 down. Now keep it. So we keep the first the same. You don't do anything for the first one. We change the sign. So divide becomes multiply, and then we flip this fraction. Flip means we bring the number down up and we take the number up down. So this is how we do division of fractions. Keep it, change it, flip it. All right. Now you might ask again, why are you multiplying? Whereas I said do the inverse. I told you to do the inverse for the question. So when we did the inverse, that's multiply became divide. Now to divide the fraction, we are doing this. This is a rule we need to follow. Else we cannot get the answer when we divide fractions. You need to listen to me very, very, very carefully. Else you will get confused to what we are trying to do here. All right. So let's solve this now. S is going to be equal to 6 multiplied by 3 will give you 18. 2 multiply 1 will give you 2. The negative sign is common, so we keep the negative sign the same. Now, 18 divided by 2 will give you a negative 9. So the answer for S is negative 9. The value of S is negative 9. Let's check whether the answer we got is correct or not, whether S is really equal to negative 9 or some other number. So this is the question. 2 over 3 multiplied by S equals negative 6. Now, 2 over 3, what was the value of S we got? We got as negative 9. So negative 9 is alone, so we need to change it to a fraction that will give you 1, right? So let's multiply and see. 2 multiplied by negative 9 will give you negative 18. 3 ones will give you a 3. And then the other side should have negative 6. Is negative 18 multiplied by 3 going to give you a negative 6? Yes, it will. Because you know, it's like divide 18 by 3. So that will give you a 6. And then the negative sign is there. So the answer should have a negative sign as well. I know, if you don't remember dividing fractions, this is going to be confusing. So take some extra questions and try to do it, and then you will understand how you have to divide fractions. Then only you can solve these equations. Let's see one more question. Okay, this means 15 equals 5 over 6 multiplied by f. Read the question for yourself, only then you will be able to understand what you have to do. So 15 equals 5 over 6 multiplied by f. Now multiplied by f, you have to do the opposite to find the value for f. So do the inverse. 15 divided by 5 over 6 equals f, right? The 5 over 6 will move to the other side. So in fact, this arrow should be to the other side. So it becomes 15 divided by 5 over 6. Now again, you're going to use the same rule. Keep, change, flip. Because we are going to divide fractions. So here, what do you think is going to be the denominator? Denominator is going to be 1. Now I can again write it the same way. I just brought f in front, that's all, nothing else. You can solve it this way or you can solve it this way. It's how you write the question, that's all. So 15 over 1, I'm doing KCF. So keep it 15 over 1 the same. Change, that's change the sign and then flip it. Flip the fraction. You have to topple the fraction to the other side. Bring the denominator up and take this down. So 6 over 5. Now we can solve this. So 15 multiplied 6 will give you 90. 1 multiplied 5 will give you 5. Now how much is 90 divided by 5? That's going to give you a 14. Okay, and you have to be very good in mental math. You have to be very quick in solving. Only then you can do these questions at a very short time. Now let's check whether the answer we got, which f is equal to 14, is correct or not. So write the question up, and then we already have an answer on the other side as 15. So 5 over 6 multiplied by 14. This means multiply. I'm repeating it many times. This is multiply. 14, the value of f we got was 14. So because 14 is alone, we write it as a fraction as the denominator of 1. Now, just multiply how you multiply. 5 14s will give you how much? 90. And then 6 ones will give you a 6. So 90 divided by 6 will give you 15. So that means the answer we got is right. Okay. Now this is a very easy lesson, but you need to practice how to divide fractions because most of the questions will have dividing. Now multiplying was easier because you just multiply them, and I did not concentrate on that much, but this needs a bit of practice, that's all. Okay, so if you don't understand how to divide fractions, you can rewind the video, just follow the steps which I told, take some questions from the internet, at least 3 questions, solve it, and then come back and solve the equations. Hopefully this lesson is clear for you. So all what I say is keep practicing. Practice, practice, practice is what makes you perfect and what makes you quick in solving the questions. So until we meet in another video, do like and share and subscribe to the channel.